to spend on certain things, which should be high on the development agenda for constituencies. We're not even asking about the NGCDF and where that money goes or what it does, but that the people have they realized, Dr. Owila, that we know you and we know exactly what it is that you're doing. If you're coming to spend this money, that means you do have it, but you choose not to spend it on things that then affect us and our development. So you may come to hoodwink us with these goodies, but we are still going to make a decision with logic. Is that something that's spreading around the country?
I think it is. It is, and it's a good thing. Because whether the intent is to develop or not, development happens. So people would essentially come to this realization that there's a lot that the government can do because there is money lying somewhere, and people will be a lot more demanding of what the government should do. Essentially, we know that it's the main intention there is to get people to vote for the government of the day, or to get people to vote for the government preferred candidate, simply because now we've brought development. You've been crying for roads, there are roads. You've been crying for electricity, there's electricity. You've been living in deplorable conditions, here are mattresses, here now you can cook using LPG gas, and so on and so forth. So you look at that and you're thinking, if the intention of the government is to develop, then that development plan is misplaced, that they're only coming to develop when they're looking for the vote. And there are a number of Kenyans who will be looking at that, and they'll be very critical. They'll be saying that the only time that we need to get what we can out of the establishment is during an election. And once we get that, we can vote whichever way we want to vote. And if I may just respond to what he said, that even the MP-elect might decide that the best thing to do now is to work with the government of the day for the development in Olkalau. I mean, that's a choice that if he makes, I think politically it will only push him until the next general election. You know, because of what we've seen. People will celebrate the goodies that come from the establishment, but still vote on the basis of who they think will serve their interest. The other thing that came out clearly is the fact that, you know, in Kenya, there are two categories of Kenyans. And this government has become, or let me say the broad-based, has become very strategic in the way they are targeting them. There's a category that is very big on infrastructural development. The government owes this to us. They need to create an enabling environment. And I think there's a track that the government has taken that is taking care of that. So if you look at the road network that is going to the western region, they're actually targeting the people who are asking themselves, these taxes that we are paying, where are they going? But they've also realized that there's a very big chunk of the Kenyan population that hates a poor politician, that hates a campaign period that gives them promises of what will be done and does not give them immediate gratification. And I think that is the population that the people of Olkalau say it exists. They will take the immediate gratification, but they will still vote the way they want to vote. They don't have to vote for the government. It tells you that all these travels that we see in the name of empowerment, led by the deputy president and many MPs, and they contribute millions of shillings. Where they get that money, I don't know. But they are going round because there's a sizable population of Kenyans who believe it is our time to eat. A politician comes for a rally, we need to be left with something. Where I come from, you need to go us, you know. So the extent to which the government was thinking, or let me say politicians were thinking, that the more you give goodies, the higher the likelihood of you being voted, is increasingly getting debunked in Olkalau. So whereas in Olkalau they were given grand things, in Malava they were given bread and mkate and soda. I think the premium in Malava or areas like Malava will increase, but the reality is they won't have to vote the way the people who are giving them more want them to vote, which for me is a realization that is coming at the right time.
But do we need to have the conversation about where this money comes from?
We need to. I mean, there's a lot of conversations around where this money comes from, and not just the money that they're dishing.
Or that rather what it could actually be doing.
Yes. Basically means that there's a sense in which there's a lot of money, but there's a dearth of a strategic plan to make good use of this money. And I think people have raised a lot of questions that to what extent are these disruptive and landmark projects by this regime working for us? Like, we see things have been done, but we never question to what extent have we had an outlay of capital that is beyond what is required for the things that have been done. Whether it is SHA or all these, small and big infrastructure that they've developed, you ask yourself, this is good, but the initial outlay was just out of this world. Why do we have to spend a lot of billions in a system that fails every other time? And therefore, you have a clique of politicians who go say, SHA is working. The other day, there was even a very interesting one who was telling his people, we need to vote for President William Ruto because when my son did not have school fees, I went to the president and he gave me money. And you ask yourself, what are we talking about? Can all of us go to our MPs, the president, and ask for money for school fees? And is that the basis upon which we need to evaluate the political class? So the questions around funds, where these funds are coming from and how they are used, whether it is judiciously used in the interest of the people, are going to be very critical questions. The only worry is, we make a lot of noise, but no one has. You expect the opposition to put all these things together and have a watertight campaign platform and say, this is what the government is doing that is in the interest of Kenyans.
But even while at that,